Fiesta Active, fashionable fun or flaccid flop. What more is there to say about the venerable Ford Fiesta? We've recently driven the furiously fizzy Fiesta ST and loved it. The more common or garden rest of the hatchback range impressed on the launch and continued to do so in subsequent group tests. So what's next? Now, we've got the 5-door only Fiesta Active to get our teeth into. It's an unashamed leap towards, but not quite into, the SUV sector for Britain's best-selling car. Naturally, you'll be thinking that job was meant for the somewhat also-ran EcoSport, though, and you'd be right. Except that's a full S.U.V. according to Ford, despite its previous Gen Fiesta underpinnings, and demands growing for more Diet Coke crossovers. That's why we're driving this 19mm higher Fiesta, 18mm ride height plus 1mm tire sidewall, in the hills above Nice, France. It's the first of a trio of active models, with K Plus and Focus attempts in the product plan before 2018's out. The basic premise is something we've seen before. The conventional Fiesta's lines have added heft thanks to plastic matte black cladding that encircles the whole car. There's a contrasting colored roof, 17-inch alloys with rubber that widens the stock Fetsa's track by 1mm, and roof rails that'll carry a meaningful amount of load, but the latter's only on offer if you're one of the 4 in 5 buyers that eschew the headroom-sapping full-length panoramic glass roof. Inside, the basic formula remains, except Ford's installed a pair of sports seats with an added design that mirrors the exterior color scheme. Careful attention was made to preserving the H-point, which is the hip's position relative to the rest of the controls, so the driving position is unchanged. That hue also leaks onto various interior trim parts, with the resulting ambience more cheerful than we expected, especially in the sandy beach luxe yellow launch color pictured here. There's also the bespoke active grille, which sets it apart from other Fiestas, and LED headlamps also join the list of options for the first time, though not uniquely to active models. Yes and no. Let's start with that suspension hike. It's been achieved with a view to maintaining the normal Fiesta's characteristic handling, which means more than a simple spring and damper change. Instead, Ford's engineers have used a bespoke front suspension knuckle and hub points, retuned the electric power steering and stability control, tweaked the rear dampers and added a hydraulic rebound stop to the front ones. This last, the blue ovals people say, smooths out rough roads and their associated cabin intruding noise. So a lot of work's gone into the development of the chassis. Thing is, body control has suffered in this reach for the stars, and consequently it is that bit less enjoyable. The steering remains well configured and decently weighted, but any rhythm is difficult to maintain through the sweeping curves and switchbacks of Route Napoleon because the body's moving around and wanting to pitch its nose deeper into each corner. That's not to say it's bad, but it's certainly the least dynamically interesting of the current crop of Fiesta that this tester's tried. It isn't, no. It might look a little chunkier, but a Suzuki Swift 4x4 will make mincemeat of this car when the going gets really tough. All-wheel drive isn't an option here. That would bring it too close to EcoSport territory, and nothing about the Active lends itself to harder work than a dry, flat, grassy field or gravel track. The styling's more of a look than an indication of seriously improved terrain tackling talent. Tellingly, we weren't offered anything more challenging than tarmac to test the car on.